Abram, sit down, the round, the sound of my voice. Tonight is gonna be different than it has been for 40 years, and I need you to hear me with the part of you that listens to Yahweh, because what I am about to say is the kind of thing a wife says once in a marriage. In the year I've been carrying, it has been the longest year of my life. I am bearing the carrying, the marrying of myself to the promise without a body to deliver. It has worn through the silk of my optimism, and I'm standing in the rags of what is left. Yahweh has prevented me from bearing. The Hebrew is at Zar, the worn verbal restraint of being held back, of being shut, and I have used it in my prayers for 30 years, and the prayer has not changed the morning of any cycle in this tent. Abram, you have heard the promise, you have counted the stars, you came back from that vision, the one patriarch of the covenant glowing in your chest. And I sat across from you at breakfast the next day and watched you trying to pretend you were not the born of new man you had become. I am happy for you, I am not bitter, but the promise was your seed, and the seed requires a womb, and the one womb in this tent is mine and it is closed. Yahweh did not promise me anything, Abram, he promised you, and I am the geography of the unscorned failure of his promise to land. And I have been thinking the ink and the link and the brink of what I am about to say has been where I have been living for the morn. Here I have been working through this. There is a custom, the Hammurabi, the Mesopotamian marriage contracts of our people permit a barren wife to give the warm servant of a household to her husband as a secondary wife, and the children born of that union are legally the wife's. The womb was not mine, but the heir is mine, the born through the doorway of another body, but counted in my line. I have waited, Abram, I have waited for months. This is not a panic, the manic, the frantic decision of a desperate woman. This is the patient conclusion of a strategic mind that has exhausted every other option. Yahweh does not seem to be moving, and the anticipated promise is not arriving. I am not getting younger in the body. I have been waiting and has been waiting for 30 years, in the antique patience of my faith is frayed. And I am proposing what the law of our people permits, and what the silence of our God is not prohibited. And the antiquity of this custom is not an excuse, but it is a precedent. And I want you to know I have been honest with myself about this. To bound the wound, the sound of me suggesting another woman in your tent is the most painful sentence I have ever spoken, and I am only able to say it because the alternative is no son ever, and the resting of the covenant on a closed womb is the slow death of the promise. And I will not let the promise die in me. If I can help it, I will not be the resting place of a covenant gone cold. But Abram, I need to ask you the worst, the curse, the rehearsed in my head for weeks question. Who would you choose if I let you choose at the resting of this conversation? And I am asking because I need to know what you have already been thinking. The ink and the link and the brinking of the truth on your tongue is the test of whether this conversation has already been happening in your head before I brought it to my mouth. Which servant, Abram, you hesitating? I see it, the wrestling in your face, the unbiased, the disguise, the surprise by your own answer, recognition that you have a name in mind, and the name is one. I do not want to hear the rest of this evening.